Hey there folks, I'm Kaiserneko, and this is the first movie breakdown. And for our first, we have Cooler 2, Return of Cooler's Revenge, The Reckoning. Now to start off, this movie. This movie. This movie. This movie. Alright, now let's take a look at that timeline. Now to no one's surprise, this son of a bitch is huge. The real kicker here though is the audio. A lot going on down there. I'm willing to admit that sound effect and music selection, as well as balancing and placement, are at least as time-consuming and important to the process as the visual editing is. Speaking of the visual editing though, let's talk about the opening title card. I cheated. I did not make this card. At least, I did not construct it from the ground up. I used a template from VideoHive called Logo Transforming in After Effects. I did some extra visual alteration, but I can't largely take credit for it. As for what I can take credit for, let's start with covering the different moving eye shots, as there's a pretty decent amount in this one. This one here with Krillin, this shot here with Vegeta made up of 7 to 8 different layers, this shot here of Cooler, and this one with Goku near the end. Sometimes I really just don't have as much freedom as I want with the footage, and I need to indicate a change in expression or even the most minute action to accentuate the comedy. It's a simple and cheap trick, but it can be effective when used correctly. On the subject of reoccurring effects, the flashing eyes on each of the robots is nothing but a small, blurred, circular red graphic. I would resize it, blur it as necessary, and use the color dodge overlay. I use this effect to give the robots, or as we call them, cycloids, some more personality for whenever they spoke, and to signify which was talking. This one is my favorite. Now that we've gotten the reoccurring edits out of the way, we'll start with the edits in order. Firstly, see the shot here? Well, look again. That's right, I needed Piccolo out of this shot. So I redrew the background, did a little bit of copying and pasting, and there you have it. Same with this shot of Piccolo walking up behind Goku here. Also, did you know that it's implied that Piccolo was already fused with Kami in this film? Furthermore, there's a heavy implication that Dende is already Guardian of the Earth, but Gohan isn't a Super Saiyan for 2 more films, and Piccolo gets his ass handed to him by a single Cooler bot. Which also begs the question, why didn't Piccolo fight Cooler? He's stronger than Goku right now! This movie. Continuing on, due to the process of how we wanted to tell the events in this film, along with pacing issues, we had to show Goku turning Super Saiyan. However, the movie proper does not give us an actual transformation shot. So I pulled the trick I've used before and essentially made one via some minor visual alterations to existing shots. Fun times! You know the sound effects here, by the way? Those are the Sentry sound effects from StarCraft 2, slowed down 15%. Now, let's take a look at a small edit that people are probably going to really easily miss. See this shot of Vegeta being knocked back here the first time? Goku's position is standing up before he switches to his fighting pose. But in every subsequent shot, he's in his fighting pose as Vegeta is being knocked back. To do this, I took the shot of Goku and cut it into place here, added some motion lines, and saved them as individual frames. I then just posted Goku where he needed to be for every other necessary frame. The next edit was made on the behest of Lani. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do it, but lo and behold, in this shot of Piccolo here, I needed to have the gun slide into frame. You see, there was never a frame without the gun in the original. So I essentially had to make one using a piece of background from another shot. A wonder. The next edit actually carries over for several shots. See this little dude right here? We call him DVED. It stands for Dynamically Voiced Evisceration Droid. In the original, he spoke with this little mouthpiece thing and had 2 regular eyes. In this version, I thought it would stick better with the running visual theme we'd had with the cycloids to give him a single blinking red jewel eye instead. I borrowed it from one of the actual cycloids. I also replaced his eye for this shot where he explodes. So I know some people think we got David Eddings, voice of Claptrap, to play DVED. I must inform you, however, that the voice actor who plays DVED is actually named Lee Rastus. I'm sure you'll turn something up on Google. Continuing with the edits, notice this shot of Cooler here? Yeah, that's added in. That leads me to one of my favorite visual edits in the movie, Cooler's head in space. Here, you can see the original head. It's made up of several different layers, and let me tell you, animating the eye movement as it rotated through space like that was not easy. Hey, so if Cooler was sent into the sun, how in the world did he float far enough away to find the microchip to form the Big Getty Star? If it was that close to Earth, why target Namek and not just attack Earth? And even if he was closer to Namek, how was he that close to Namek in such a short time period? Also, what's the purpose of these things if you can just make 1,000 different Cooler bots? F this movie. Next edit we have here is a shot of Piccolo, and wow, looking kinda cool there, Piccolo. I ended up fixing the lazy eye they gave him, which is sort of ridiculous, because I know that the awful animation in this movie was largely due to the lack of decent key animation, but come on! F this movie! Also, this shot here with the explosion after Goku and Vegeta land, originally Cooler was in this shot. I made the necessary edit to remove him. Thank you, Content Aware. Nearing the end, notice this little musical bit here?
You know, I learned something today. In the end, when all is said and done, Freezer was Cooler, and Cooler was Freezer.
It's actually from Scrubs. Thanks to Ein Sofauer for the cover. It really made the scene in my opinion. Lastly, if you're wondering what the bit in the credits is all about, it's actually a huge reference to the Stargate scene from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Notice this part? Well, besides the scene directly after it being an obvious Star Wars reference, this shot is a direct visual reference all on its own to 2001. I wanted to go the whole 9 yards in some manner, so I decided to do it in the credits. Thanks to Mark Swint / the engineer for all the visual edits to Baby Piccolo. You helped fully realize this joke. How did Vegeta get a Saiyan pod? Where did it come from? I'm serious, it's never explained. There are no Saiyan pods left. There's nothing to imply Dr. Briefs did or could make another one. He just has one. Look, I can allow for the usual bullshittery of timelines not lining up between the series and the movies, but there are just some serious logical failings throughout this entire film. That and it looks like mangled ass. And the villain sucks. F this movie. Oh. I'm gonna go watch The World's Strongest again and act like this never happened. Oh man, World's Strongest though, right? Man, that scene where Roshi fights the Bio Warriors and gets to be a badass one more time? That game of death-style progression of Goku through Wheelo's facility? That fiery Kaioken? The hard takedowns? That fight between Goku and Piccolo? Oh. I wanna go abridge World's Strongest now. Oh yeah, check out our other videos. We do the video game things. Krillin plays video games, Vegeta plays video games. It's actually pretty funny. We also do other stuff, like Dicks of the Old Republic. Oh, we also have new shirts, too. They're cool. Oh, man, that scene where Goten's arm turns into a Gatling gun? Like, what?